Prakash? Prakash?
Hey, man, I'm getting ready for the show.
We're ready for you.
Everyone gets into character differently, okay? Jess, will you...
I feel like that was inappropriate. I've never seen that before, but why aren't you wearing any pants, Prakash, AMRITRAJ?
Where is the show airing? Can we show that?
Why would you put that out there in your underpants?
First of all, I was getting into character for the show. I have a process. I was listening to a little, something, and then they happened to open the door. It's supposed to be locked, and then now it's on Up and Adams, and look what happened.
I want you to know that's your introduction to an NFL audience. Let's give you a proper introduction. You've won a national championship at USC, spending 10 years on the ATP World Tour. But that's not all. You are an actor, a producer. You're very charismatic, very charming, disarming, and truly one of the best interviewers in our business. And you do it all for Tennis Channel. How do you do it? What is your favorite part of disarming an Iga Świątek, a Carlos, when they come and sit with you at a desk like this?
Well, you're sensationally sweet. But, my favorite part is I've been in their shoes.
Yeah.
And I know what it is to be able to kind of go out there and be vulnerable on a tennis court. So there's a bit of trust. They know that I've been there. So, there's never any kind of cheap shots. I'm always coming from a place of, I know how difficult it is to put yourself out there. So I think when you start with that trust, you get stuff you wouldn't normally get.
Like you and Serena and you and Venus.
We
right?
have had some good times together.
How does that happen?
I'll tell you what. This is how it went down. I think it was in the mid-2000s, something like that. I was still playing on the tour, and somehow I ended up at a SB party at Serena's house. And we hadn't really hung out too much before that. And my brother and I were the last people to leave at like 8 in the morning. We were doing karaoke, and then we just kind of became like family.
Weird. Yeah. So you talked to Serena. Me, you won't invite to the Malibu White Party.
No, technically, you were supposed to hit me when you got back because you were traveling, Europe, we were gonna hang, and then I never got the text.
You're everywhere. Like, take a look at Prakash at your Instagram is my favorite little mining for like, people go to Dumois for their celebrity news. Look at, first of all, the outfit is absolutely insane. How was your fourth? Who was there? Is it the food god back there? I think it is.
There was just about everyone back there. We had a very good, reasonable, well-behaved time.
Did you?
Yeah.
I don't know that I saw a single reasonable, well-behaved person the entire time that I was there.
I'm generally absolutely not a drinker. I never touch anything, but there might have been a couple of tequilas thrown.
I was going to say, now I realize why we're not friends, because I'm usually drinking and you're working out at the gym, as you always do. Okay, let's get into Wimbledon. Okay. Because, we obviously cover all sports. We love FanDuel, Tennis Channel, all of that. You and I worked together on Netflix.
That was a blast.
It was so fun.
That was a blast.
So freaking fun. And that's how I know anything about tennis, is by working with you. And you were so amazing. But Wimbledon, I was really surprised about Coco. Because once Iga got bounced, I felt like all the team was like, Coco can do this. She gets bounced by Emma Navarro, who's got all the confidence in the world right now. But I feel like she had a lot of momentum. What did you make of this match?
I think overall, grass isn't a great surface for Coco. She's got that massive serve, which can get you a lot of free points on grass. She steps into that backhand nicely, but her forehand, it's a super Western grip. And that means you need a little bit extra time. Coco likes the ball to come up a little bit, have the ball a little bit higher. On grass, everything stays nice and low. You see the way Djokovic moves. There's no one in the world that moves better on grass than Djokovic. He's so low to the ground. He shortens up his swings just about 25%, a little bit more compact. I think that hurts Coco. And Emma was able to be a little bit more aggressive, rush her, take a little bit of time away. And it's interesting, for a player as great as Coco, she's never made it past the fourth round at Wimbledon. So I think in the future, she will have to make a couple of adjustments there. But good news for her, hardcourt season's just around the corner.
I feel like she didn't have answers, and she was looking at the coach. There's a lot being made about that. Of course, I learned all about him because we got to work with Andy Roddick and Agassi at this Netflix event that was so incredible, the Netflix Slam. And she was asking, like out loud, asking him things. What did you make of that, and what do they need to get right before the Open?
Well, body language-wise, as a player, you're always checking out the other player. You can be toweling up, but you got the corner of your eye on the other player. And when you see Coco, who's generally just, her body language is so strong, it intimidates from that side. When you see her questioning, going to the coach, as Emma inside, you're doing a little fist pump and you're feeling good about that. Uncharacteristic, but it was exactly how it was. She felt unsure out there, and she wasn't quite sure how to be able to make those adjustments.
If you were wanting to have some fun at somewhere like, FanDuel Sportsbook, and you're looking at the women here, now no Iga, no Coco, Can Emma ride this momentum deep into this thing? What do you like? Who do you like?
Wow. Well, I tell you what, bottom half, I actually like Emma to be able to come through. I think she'll take out Paolini. I think the other quarterfinal there, it's a player who's never even won a Grand Slam match before, and Dana Vekic. So I do like Emma to come through, which would be spectacular for the U.S. But top half, you know, Rybakina's she's playing some nasty tennis. She lost one set to Sigmund. Other than that, she's won the tournament before, and her game fits very well for the grass.
Okay, everybody, I would trust Prakash on this. I don't know what he just said, but I'm going to rewatch it and like go have some fun with that. Djokovic, he's got Rune, who's a 21-year-old killer. They've played each other, I think, 5 times. Rune's won twice. You've got a 37-year-old greatest player of all time coming off a knee surgery June 5th. Look at me, I did my research.
I was just going to say, are you sure you're not like a tennis
I'm so
expert?
well researched when I have to talk to you.
Going off your tongue like that.
What's the one thing I need to look for in this quarterfinals matchup?
I think you got to look out for Holger's execution. Holger's one of those players who has the ability to transition from a baseline game into that net game. And when he was playing his best, that's what he does well. He attacks, has the drop volley, all the tools you need to beat Djokovic. Problem is, I think Djokovic moves better here. And when you step out onto that center court against Novak Djokovic, that's a different feeling. You hear the fact that he's won this thing 7 times. All of that can get into your psyche a little bit. It's not like when he beat him at Rome. It's not like when he beat him in Paris. It's a different situation. Center court, Wimbledon, that's the hallowed ground of the sport. So as long as he can overcome that, execute well, he's certainly got a shot. I still back the GOAT.
You think how many more Grand Slams does he have in him? Federer won his last one at 36. You've got Joker out there at 37 right now. If he doesn't, you think he wins this whole thing? He could win this whole.
Here's my take on that. He won 3 out of 4 last year. So still playing dominant tennis, number 1 in the world.
Amazing.
Every great, I think, has that one last trick up his sleeve. Like when Rafa won that Australian Open, he was down 2 sets to love against Medvedev, won the French set here. I think that was it for him. Tiger Woods, when he won that last Masters. Foreman, when he beat Michael Moore. I think Djokovic has got one more in his bag, at least.
What is, like, in terms, when I'm watching in my sport, when I'm watching Tom Brady play his last year, what could be his last year? Even I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers, 39 coming off an Achilles. How much longer will I have this greatness before they retire? Are you watching that? Is there like an emotion to that, a rawness to watching Djokovic? Do you feel like how near the end do you think we really are?
I think we're closer than we think. I think last year he's saying, I'd love to play for another 5 years.
Right.
But I think with the reality of Rafa leaving, that hits him in a certain way. Just like when Federer left, it hit Rafa in a certain way. Djokovic has said, Rafa Nadal is the most important rival I've had in my career. And when that person leaves, I mean, you think back to the 80s, when Bjorn Borg just walked away from the game at 25, it viscerally hit John McEnroe. It was tough because in those quiet moments when you're practicing and training, you have Nadal in the back of your mind, pushing you that extra bit. You feel like throwing up, you go that extra mile because of him. When he's gone, you have to find new motivation. And when you have every record in the book, where do you find that? So I think he's looking at another slam. Olympics is very important for him, something that he hasn't won yet. But I think
when
it's
you
a
say
little
it's important
closer.
to him, like not his legacy, is it? I mean, he doesn't need anything else. Right?
He doesn't need anything, but the way Djokovic functions, I think he wants to leave nothing to question. Like, for example, he's already got 24.
24, yeah.
Rather. But Margaret Court has 24. I don't think you can put them in the same conversation. Margaret Court won hers at a time where, at times there were 16 people in the draw at the Australian Open. Highly more competitive, so I think his 24 means more. But I think he still wants 25 because no one has 25. He doesn't have an Olympic gold medal. So I think he doesn't want to leave anything to chance.
Yeah, so with Carlos Alcaraz playing the way he is and all of that, he doesn't want to, he's so young already, or still rather, and he's about 21 years old.
Man, I love that kid.
Really?
He's got this energetic, infectious energy. The best way I can describe it is, when you're 9 years old and you jump and you try to touch the moon, you don't, but you know what, I can get it that next time. And you still jump and you believe you can. Yeah. That's what he's got.
I feel like when he loses, when he's losing, he's still like having the time of his life out there. I love watching him.
It's that smile, and it's a genuine smile. He enjoys himself out there, and a lot of times he goes for shots to entertain us, not necessarily what's the smartest shot out there. How special is that?
It's amazing. So are we rooting for a second Wimbledon crown for him?
I think A Djokovic Alcaraz
That would be
rematch
amazing. Let's
would
go!
be special. I think that would be special.
I would love that. Quickly before we take a break, I was reading somewhere this morning that we're trying to maybe take a 5-set situation to 4 and then a overtime sort of vibe. What do you make of that from the men? You're out. You're a tradition.
I'm a traditionalist. I'm old school. But here's my situation. When you have a Djokovic playing a Lorenzo Musetti, for example, at the French Open a couple of years ago, Musetti won the first couple sets. So that would mean Djokovic is out of the tournament. But over the course of the long run, the better player generally finds a way. There's a different emotional, physical, and spiritual pacing for a 5-set match in a Grand Slam. I think it would be a crime to take that away.
So your pick to win Wimbledon for the men is?
Just like that? You can put
yeah,
a spot
just like that. Just like that.
I think it's going to be an Alcaraz-Djokovic final, and because I know
It's supposed to be hard for you to
Carlitos,
be best friends with
well, I know,
It's gotta be so hard.
Listen, I know Carlitos is going to win so many slams, so I am hoping for sentimental favor.
Djokovic doesn't want your pity sentiment pick. He wants you to think that he's going to mop the floor with Carlito.
He's not mopping the floor with Carlitos. But this isn't for Djokovic. This is for us.
This is for yeah.
I think it's important where odds are a little bit against. You're coming back from a knee injury.
Two diva talent, making it all about us. All right, we'll be back. We're going to take a short break here. Maybe we'll get into a little Andy Murray. I do want to get into some NFL stuff with you too. I'm going to make you judge workouts. I think we have that coming up right after this. And we got to talk about VJ in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, you got to get a lift with The Rock.
You would get a lift in with The Rock.
I would love to get a lift with The Rock.
Do we have any footage of Prakash working out?
I want to get a lift with The Rock.
Do we have any
in his iron paradise.
What is his iron paradise?
Traveling circus that he takes everywhere.
This is your traveling circus. Any man who has one of these belts, I have a lot of questions about. What do I need to know here?
He works on the posture a little bit there.
What is the goal here? What are you working towards?
Well, first of all, I got a couple projects I got to get ready for. But
Tell me.
This is my therapy, Kay. This is where you got to keep the mind right to be able to do what you need to do.
All I know.
Look at that hold up at top.
All I know is I was eating French toast in Vegas the morning we worked together, and you were up at 4 in the morning doing Romanian deadlifts or some crazy thing.
The previous night, you said you were going to join me for the Romanian deadlift, and then you didn't join. So let it be known on the show.
Now you know me. Now you know me. Okay.
Flaked on me.
I need to just give it. We have 90 seconds left. I need to plug. Do you have something coming out? Do you have a movie or something? What is happening?
I'll be shooting a couple of films next year, but we'll talk about that when it's ready. But one top of the year, a little rom-com we got going.
Do you do Pilates?
No, but I tried once and it was just brutal.
Well, we have Stefan Diggs. I don't know if you saw This Is My World. We have all these crazy workouts.
Here
he is falling off. No, he's falling off of a Pilates machine. I will challenge you. I'd like you to come to a Pilates class with me.
Oh, look at that, brother's doing good.
Because can I tell you that I think I could kick your ass at Pilates?
Oh, brother.
I think I could take you in this. It's the one physical challenge I think I could take you in.
I'd accept that challenge.
You would? You think you could not have the shakes?
I didn't say that, but I would accept the challenge. As long as I get enough caffeine before, I'm good to go for just about anything.
Pre-workout, sponsored by Creatine. Jackie, how good? I'm pretty good at Pilates. What? I don't know, I'm just saying.
What happened to her voice just then? When she did the whole, the pre-workout. Was that the bro voice?
I don't know.
The gym bro voice?
What's next for you?
Montreal, Cincinnati, emceeing a very cool U.S. Open, player party, food, culinary thing before the Open, and then the U.S. Open. So
I'll be your guest at the U.S. Open. I'm excited to go see.
You have a standing invite.
To go
you just ghost me most of the time.
You're the best. Prakash, AMRITRAJ. Guys, check him out on Tennis Channel, giving you the best interviews and just bringing humanity. Even if you're not a huge tennis fan, watch it all. It's amazing. Thank you so much. And go, Emma. Emma, let's go. I'm on Team Emma.